this video to explain how to use Excel to test our hypothesis, which was basically whether or not the number of M&Ms in a fun size, our sample, has a similar ratio of colors to our population. Right now, we're just going to work on doing descriptive statistics for our samples, which are going to be on this worksheet. We have period 7, students' names go with the fun packs. Same thing with period 8. Ignore the population data for a few minutes. So all the data is entered. I'm actually going to go to File, Download an Excel document that will bring it up, bring it onto my desktop as an Excel workbook. That's XLS. So I click that. On my computer, it's there. From here, I'm just going to go to my desktop because that's where mine is. Yours likely went to a folder, download folder on your computer. I'm going to make this a little bigger so we can see it. I'm going to do all this in period 7, but it would be similar elsewhere. Immediately, I'm going to do File, Save As. I'm going to name it my last name, Baskin. Oh, it'd be cool if I could spell my name. Baskin, M data. I usually put the date, so I'll just put 2005. You can choose on here where to save it. I like to save things on my desktop. As you can see, I have 8 million folders, and I'm just going to hit save. Right here, it's same setup as Google Sheets. I'm actually going to put a few rows in. I do that by clicking on the number next to the row. I go to Insert, Row. It'll do it again. You can just click that multiple times. I'm actually going to hit the Command button and Y on a Mac that repeats. I'm going to make sure I have at least 6 in there, and you'll see why in a second. In order to start doing descriptive statistics, we need to sort of make a mark between where the statistics calculated goes and the data we've already put in. So underneath this last student's name, I'm going to go up to make sure I'm on home. And here you can do the borders. I'm going to put a large bottom border. That's a mental image so that I make sure I am not selecting the wrong data. So our descriptive statistics that we've learned so far are mean, median, whoop, be cool if I could spell, and mode. And these are all formulas built into Excel. So that's average. When I click average, notice it puts in the parentheses. It's asking you to input what cells you want to average. I'm going to average these. And same thing, I can just drag this straight across. So when I'm ready to drag it across, let me click off of here, back on. See how we have these go to the corner and it's going to change, and I can just drag it across. Same thing with median. Parentheses, select what I want to find the median for, enter, and straight across, and then mode equals mode. Same thing, select all of our values, hit enter, click on the cell, go to the bottom right corner, and drag across. Since I put a lot of data in, I'm just going to hit save. Save on this version of Excel is this looks like a vending machine. It's actually a floppy disk. Now we wanted to compare, obviously the totals are very different. The average total was around 15, but it's much higher in our population values of the larger size of M&Ms. We need to work at proportion. So we're actually going to do percent. And then I'm going to copy and paste the colors because we want to put the same colors. Control copy, Control V. And now we have the colors in there. Just to make it look pretty, I'm going to go straight across. And I'm going to make this merge and center so it looks pretty. Now, we need to do percents. So what we have to do, if you remember percent, percent is just the number of red divided by the total number. So I'm going to do equals, and that up here, here's our formula bar. It wants you to input a formula. I want to do the first cell for red, and that's B3. You can see it up in the formula bar, divided by the total. And I'm going to hit enter. And now I have a percentage. 6% of the M&Ms in this bag, 6.25%, were red. And we can copy this down and go straight down. Lovely. Oh, let's come back to that. We only want to do just here. I'll explain why later. For example, in McKenna's, it's 0 because there were no reds whatsoever. We want to do the same thing, and maybe it's tempting to just drag this across like we did with mean and median. That number should look strange. Why would you have a percent of 16 and because it's divided by 100, that's way more than you should. That's because you can always double check the formula by going up to here. When you click on the formula bar, you'll see it's orange, but it's not divided by total. What it is it's now orange divided by, it shifted the denominator over by 1 and also the numerator. So what we actually want to do is teach Excel that in this formula, we're actually going to freeze. We want to not change off of H3. We want it to shift over 1 on the top, but not on the bottom. So I'm going to go back up into the formula bar, and hopefully you can see this. I'm going to surround the letter of the cell I want to freeze with $signs. And that is code for Excel to freeze a pane. So what happens now is there's one orange, one red. We would expect the proportion to be the same. And that is correct. So I'm actually going to recopy this formula. Nope, not copying it down. So I'm going to change this in all of these. I'm going to put the $sign around here. I'm going to put the $sign in here around all of these. And hit enter. You should go ahead and do that. Do that for this one. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm not going to pause. The reason this trick of being able to freeze a cell is an important one in Excel, you'll actually end up using it a lot senior year as you are doing different formulas for things like, I don't know, maybe you're doing biodiversity or grain size in one of your projects. Being able to freeze a cell means you makes it easier to write your own formulas for different things that you might have to do. You actually only have to do this for the first column, which is great. It would be awful to have to do this for all of them. And keep going. It actually should not change any of your values if you've done it correctly. Put the last $sign in. And now when we drag across, all of our values will be correct. And you would expect, if we're doing total divided by total, let's see, it should be 1. And it is. So that's one of the cheats for knowing your formulas are correct. Drag these across, and it will freeze. If you go in and look, it's still the same, pointing at the same $sign, and that's correct. So let me go in and finish this. We now have percents. This one's mistaken. Oh, didn't do this one correct. So I must have skipped this one. Let me go to this one. Went down to, it's never too late, just put the $sign in correctly. And I knew it was wrong because my total was wrong. Let's copy this over now. They should all correct. Yep. And across. And across. And across. We go. Oh, this one I must not have put the $sign in either. Nope, skipped this one too. You'll notice even though I am quote-unquote trusting Excel, I do double check the values to make sure they make sense. We don't want to have any mistakes. Ooh. Drag this one across, that changes. This one's fine, and away we go. We can actually, because this formula is average for everything above it, we can actually drag these straight across. And these are correct values. Now, one of the things, I'm just going to clean this table up. I'm going to put this border on here again. This one. It makes it hard to evaluate the numbers in the percents because they're in this format. So I'm going to go up to Format, Cells. We could do the rules of sig figs, but basically we only want 2 decimal places. And now we have our percents in a formula that make more sense. So we now have, we know the average of the colors. We know all of our measures of central tendency, mean, median, mode. In descriptive statistics, we also have variance. So the one that we use most often is standard deviation, which is abbreviated SD. In Excel, there's a good the formula for standard deviation is just built in. It's this STDEV. Don't use any of these other ones. These are special cases, and there's really no use. I'm going to put this in now, here, and drag this all the way across. Now, you'll notice no variance in the total, which is what you would not expect. Standard deviation is a really good measure of how much variance, and it doesn't matter terribly here because we have the same sample size. We have 13 sample sizes all the way across. Period 8, actually, I don't know if you can tell us 14. This is going to be relevant because we're going to want to compare them at some point. So we do need to put in N. N is just the count. It's sample size. So to tell Excel to count how many samples you have versus not do any math with them, we enter the formula count. Same thing. Should be 13 is what we expect. Oh, I'm sorry, 11. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Drag that all the way across. Very nice. And the last one that we have is our measure of variance, and you can go back and check your formulas, is the formula for standard error. Standard error is just standard deviation divided by the square root of n. What it is it's variance, where we also take into account sample size. And since we're going to need that to compare the classes, we're going to do it as standard error instead of standard deviation. So to do that, we have to, there is no, if I type in error, there's no formula for here. And even the error bar formula, see, it would tell you whether it's alpha or beta error, which we haven't gotten into yet. Standard error is not a formula built into Excel, but luckily the formula is easy. And the formula is just standard deviation divided by the square root of n. Because of the way the formulas work, I'm actually going to put in square root first. Square root. Then we click which cell we want the square root of. We want the square root of n. So now, right now we have the square root of n. If I put standard deviation in first, the square root formula wouldn't be in there. So now we have this. So now we have standard error for all of our variance. We can take it right across. And that's what I need you guys to have done for the next class so we can work on population. Let me know if you have any questions.